The night was colder than it should have been for early spring. The wind carried a kind of silence that didn't belong to the city. It was the silence of forgetting, of things left behind. On the edge of a desolate road, under the flickering light of a broken street lamp, a German shepherd stood trembling beside a torn cardboard box. His fur was matted, his ribs faintly visible beneath the dirt, and his eyes, those amber eyes, searched the darkness for something that wasn't coming back. Every few minutes, he lifted his head and let out a low, aching cry, a sound that didn't belong to an animal alone. It was the sound of grief, of loyalty with nowhere left to go. Somewhere in the distance, a car engine roared and faded again, leaving the night to swallow him whole. He had waited there for days, maybe weeks. No one could say. The collar around his neck was worn down to its leather core, the name tag half broken, the letters barely readable, Rex. People had passed by, sometimes slowing, sometimes looking away. There was something too human about the pain in his eyes, something that made them uncomfortable. But tonight was different. Tonight the air carried the first trace of rain, and the smell of it stirred something desperate in him. He began to pace, whining softly, looking down the road as if he could will a miracle into existence. When the first raindrop landed on his nose, he flinched, then raised his head and howled. It wasn't loud. It wasn't angry. It was the kind of cry that cracks open the quiet, the kind that makes even the wind stop to listen. Far down the road, headlights appeared, a pair of white beams cutting through the rain, slowing as they approached. The shepherd froze, eyes wide, breath visible in the cold. For a moment he didn't dare move. The car slowed, hesitated, then crept closer, its tires whispering across the wet asphalt. The driver's silhouette leaned forward, a young woman's voice breaking through the rain. "Hey, are you okay, boy?" Rex stepped back, uncertain, his tail tucked low, body shivering between fear and hope. The woman turned off the engine, the hum fading into stillness. She opened the door, and the scent of warmth, of safety, spilled into the night. Slowly, painfully, Rex took a step forward. His paws left faint prints in the wet ground. Another step, another, until he was close enough for her to see the tear tracks glistening in his fur. "Hey, it's all right," she whispered. And just like that, something in him broke. The trembling stopped. The cry faded. He pressed his head against her hand and let out one long, shuddering breath, as if releasing the weight of every night he'd waited alone. That was the moment she decided to take him home, and neither of them knew it yet, but that decision would save them both.
The Cry in the Rain. The story begins on a lonely stretch of road beneath a flickering streetlight, where a German shepherd named Rex cries into the night, abandoned, shivering, and desperate. His howls echo through the rain, drawing the attention of a passing car driven by a young woman named Anna. She stops, torn between fear and compassion. When she steps out, Rex doesn't run. He simply watches her, eyes wide and hollow, as if daring to hope one last time. The rain becomes their bridge, her hand trembling as it reaches out, his body trembling as it leans in. By the time she wraps him in a blanket, the storm has softened. She doesn't know why she stopped, but she knows she couldn't drive away. The night that began with a cry ends with a quiet rescue, two broken souls unknowingly saving each other.
The House of Echoes.
Anna brings Rex home, but the house feels uneasy, too clean, too empty, filled with the quiet hum of grief. Photographs of a man and a younger dog line the shelves. Rex senses it immediately. Loss. He refuses to eat, pacing near the door as if waiting for someone else. Anna tries everything, food, toys, even sleeping beside him on the floor, but his eyes remain distant. Late one night, she whispers to him, "I lost someone too." That's when he finally looks at her, as though recognizing the same wound. Slowly, an invisible bond begins to form. The walls, once filled with silence, begin to hold warmth again. Yet the peace is fragile, because healing always stirs the ghosts that linger.
The collapse. Days turn into weeks, and Rex starts to trust. He eats, wags his tail, even lets Anna brush his coat. But one morning, he doesn't get up. His breathing is shallow, his body trembling again, this time from something deeper. Anna rushes him to the vet, fear clawing at her chest. The vet delivers the words that shatter her. He's malnourished and anemic. His heart's weak. We're not sure if he'll make it through the night. Anna refuses to leave his side, whispering stories into his ear about the beach, the snow, the sound of laughter he'll hear again. The monitor beeps weakly, each sound like a heartbeat fading into silence. When his paw twitches in her hand, she doesn't know if it's goodbye or a miracle.
The morning after. Rex survives the night, barely. The vet calls it a will to live. Anna calls it love. But recovery is slow. Every step, every breath is a battle. She takes him outside under the pale morning light, the smell of rain still in the air. When he stands again, shaky but determined, she cries, not out of sadness but awe. The neighbors begin to notice, the once broken dog walking proudly beside the quiet woman. Together they rebuild routine. Morning walks, shared meals, quiet nights by the fire. The pain doesn't vanish, but it softens, replaced by trust, by the faint rhythm of life returning. And when Rex barks for the first time, the sound fills the house like music. The light beyond the snow. Months later, winter returns. The park is blanketed in white, the same kind of night they met. Rex is stronger now, his coat thick and shining, his eyes no longer hollow, but alive. Anna kneels beside him, snowflakes melting in her hair. "We made it," she whispers. He leans into her, tail swaying softly. The world feels still, healed. She realizes that in saving him, she saved herself, from loneliness, from grief, from the silence that used to haunt her. As they walk home beneath the falling snow, their footprints weave together, one story of loss and love, brokenness and rebirth. The night that once held sorrow now holds peace, and somewhere in that quiet, the world feels whole again.